In this video, I'm going to explain how to adjust camera properties based on the sequence step that you're on. So if I go into the configuration program, you'll notice I have Do Vision Analysis, I'm using it for barcode scanning, Display Overlay, and Step Mode enabled. I am using one single camera in this case. So I'll go to camera 1 and into the camera viewer. And you'll notice that I've set up 4 different profiles. Barcode scanning, which is very clearly set on a barcode, which I have in front of the camera right now. And then 3 others, which adjust the exposure of the camera, mainly just to run a test. So Profile 7 drastically changes the exposure. 0 sets it back to normal, and 8 sets it to a bright exposure. Now I can go into settings and adjust that a little bit more. And then say OK and save. So other things I can do is add new ones, of course. So if I want to add one called new, it adds new to the end of the list. Now if I want to modify new, say set it to the default, and then I want to adjust the hue, for example. Can adjust the hue, which grayscales the image, basically, and save. So now I have a number of profiles set up, with 7 being the very dark one, 8 being the brighter one, and 0 being standard. So how do I use these? In order to dynamically change the camera properties while you're stepping through a sequence, you must set up the lookup table. You'll notice in the first row we have barcode for a model. This row is reserved for setting up barcode scanning. So in this case, we call to the VIB configuration ELM3 template 6 cameras to handle barcode scanning. That is a different subject than we're talking with the camera properties. So we're going to focus on these other 3 settings. As you'll see when I run the program in auto mode, we're going to expect the program code to come into the software as 780 combined. So the number 780. So what I'm doing here, based on the model parsing, I am going to take the first character of 780, which is 7. So when I receive a 7 after being parsed, I am going to set the camera profile to 7, which is that dark profile. When I parse the complete program code from the main screen, program code being here, and I parse the second character, so starting at position 1 to position 2, and I receive an 8, I am going to set the 8 profile on camera 1. Likewise, if I see a 0 at the 3rd position in the program code, I am going to set the profile to 0, which is the standard profile. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this window so we can display it while we run the actual automated test. So I'm going to save, quit, close, close, and go back to the main program. So I'm going to run a test. The first thing it does is barcode scan because I'm using the camera as the barcode scanner. And so we're now on step 1. So based on this table, you'll see that step 1 is going to set the camera profile to 7, which is the dark one, if character 1 of the program code is 7. So 780 is our complete program code. So character 1 is in fact 7. So the program is going to use this row and set the profile to 7 as long as the step number is 1. So if I do a grab, I should see that very dark image, which is what we see. So now we are on step 2. So step 2. So I look at my table, step 2. If we're on step 2 and the second character, so based on this parsing, is equal to 8. Second character of the complete program code is equal to 8, which it is, then we're going to set the camera profile to 8. Let's try it. And 8 was our brighter of the images, which is what we get. So now we're on step 3. So if we're on step 3, and the program code character 3, which is how the parsing set up, is equal to 0, then we're going to set the profile to 0. Which is the standard camera setup or camera properties profile, which is what we got. So now if we're on step 4 and there's no entry in the table, there's no entry in the table for step 4 anywhere, the program will just leave the properties at the same property that it last set. So no change. So if we snap again, we get the same image. Snap again, we get the same image. So you get the same image until you reset the sequence at this point. So that's an explanation of how to control the camera parameters. This was shown in step mode, but this also works in non-step mode, where you're doing single snaps in the exact same way, but step doesn't come into play, just camera number. I will show another video of that procedure coming up.